All right, let's go over again the 5-minute news strategy. Yes, fundamentals are important. However, if you have mastered your pair and your technical analysis is on point, your analysis should always align with the news outcome. All right, so the most important thing that you need to do before news is to analyze your pair. All right, so let's analyze our pair before news. Okay. So this was the news movement that we're looking at. So we're not going to consider that. What we are going to look at is we're going to look at it how price was in a downtrend. All right, so let's identify our trend. This is our trend. This is our trend. Price is moving down. All right. Now I need you to take note of how price was spiking above before it pushes lower. That means price, they were taking out stop losses, right, in these areas. And they were also making some other traders buy, all right, which means they'll be collecting more profits as more people take their losses. Okay, so we have identified our trend. So now we need to identify what is happening during the day before news. Now, this is the movement during the day before news. I want you to take note of how price is pushing higher, right? It even breaks our high, as you can see. However, this is very important. I want you to take note of how price has no volume, all right? You can see how small these bullish candlesticks are if we compare them to the bearish candlesticks, all right? So these bullish candlesticks have no volume at all, telling us that price might be pushing higher for better entries, okay? So we can even see how price closed above our high, right? And then if price is breaking above a resistance or a support, we should see some sort of volume showing us that price has enough volume for it to keep pushing higher. But in this moment, we do not have volume at all, which tells us that price has more chances of dropping when news comes out. Now, if price was falling during the day before news, then we would be considering buying for price to push higher, because why would price fall during the day for them to make it fall harder when news comes out? Of course, they need better entries. All right, so that's the one thing that they are looking for, better entries, and then we use that with our analysis to our advantage. All right, so the important thing is you need to wait for the first 5-minute candle of news to close, because this 5-minute candle is what we use to make our entries and to manage our trade. All right, so now here is the 5-minute time frame on the area that we're looking at. As you can see, no volume at all as price pushes higher, and then the first 5-minute candle after news comes out is a strong bearish candle with a lot of volume. So this is telling us that price has all the steam for it to push lower, which it did. So since price has so much volume compared to the previous candlesticks, and consider that this is a news movement, we are expecting price to push lower. So you make an impulse entry, all right? So an impulse entry is when you enter right away in the market and you don't use limits or stops. All right, once you have entered your trade, you want to manage your trade according to the movement that it makes afterwards. All right, if you see price coming back into the 5-minute range, then you're watching to see, is price going to close above? The moment it closes above your 5-minute candlestick, it invalidates the setup. All right, so sometimes you could see price coming to retest. Price can come up to retest, but as long as it does not close above your 5-minute candlestick, then you're still your trade is still valid. The moment it closes above, then that invalidates our trade. All right, so in the 5-minute area, this range, the 5-minute range, we don't place a trade. So let's say this 5-minute candlestick had closed, and then instead of it pushing lower, you see if another candlestick coming to play in here, you can wait for it to give you a better setup. All right, so patience is the key in this moment. All right, if you have entered the moment it closed, then you're just waiting to see, does price close above or not? If it doesn't, then you know your setup is still very much valid for it to go lower. but if it does close above our 5-minute candlestick, then that invalidates our trade. All right. So the number one thing is to wait for your 5-minute candle to close. All right. If it closes in the direction that you were predicting, that is perfect. You can enter the trade. If it doesn't close in the prediction in the direction that you were predicting, then you need to reevaluate your analysis and see if price is just sparking above as it has done in the previous days, or if it's actually trying to take shape in that direction. So for it to take shape in that direction, then you are waiting to see if there's a retest. All right. So you're waiting for a retest, and this retest can happen on the higher time frames. All right. So you can still use the levels to monitor the markets, because this retest can also happen on the 15-minute time frame or on the 1-hour time frames, so that they can add more entries, and that's your chance to enter more. All right. So you don't have to predict the markets and try to enter before news comes out. You can always enter after news comes out, because that way you have more confirmation. And remember, you're in the market to take what you can get and not to catch the whole move. The moment that you try to catch the whole move, that's when you make silly mistakes and then you end up losing. So you're in the market to take what you can get. All right. Okay. So should we repeat that? Any questions?